Welcome, welcome, folks. It is Wednesday, September the 10th. This is Hurricane Hub Live. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandajis. And today, September the 10th, peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. And tonight on HHL, we're talking about not much. It's quiet in the Atlantic basin. Meteorologist Hunter Force is going to be along in just a little bit. Talk about just how unusual it is to have the peak of the season here on the 10th and not have any named storms out in the basin. But are there some signs of life? As of the 8 o'clock update from the Tropical Weather Outlook, National Hurricane Center, there is one area of interest, but it's got a low chance of developing. We'll walk through the models on that and how it may play out over the next 7 to 10 days or so. Still active in the Eastern Pacific, though. Next up, 90% chance of this happening. Mario, they're already on the M-named storm in the Eastern Pacific, and it has been cooking out there pretty much all season long. In terms of climatology, of course, today being the peak of the season, environmental conditions, warmest sea surface temperatures of the year found around now, pretty much throughout the entire month of September. But we typically find the most amount of named storms present in the Atlantic during this time. It's just not the case here in 2025. Here's a look at the basin right now, just void of any organized tropical activity. Are there some clusters of tropical downpours and storms? Sure, but nothing that's organizing and developing into a named storm anytime soon out there. Plenty of Saharan dust, and Hunter Force is going to, again, talk about why it's been so quiet. A big reason is the Saharan dust, some wind shear out there in the basin, preventing any seeds from really taking hold in the otherwise fertile environment. Very, very warm ocean waters all across the main development region, the Southwest Atlantic, Caribbean, and the Gulf that could sustain tropical development, but it's not the only ingredient necessary. Of course, a lack of Saharan dust is another ingredient. We just don't have that right now. Here's our area of interest here. It's not even a tagged wave yet. It's this one coming off the coast of Africa right now. It will seed the Atlantic. And over the next 7 days, chances of this developing are low. Only 20% chance of this getting its act together, and it looks to drift to the west-northwest. And as we look at some of the computer models here, we'll jump out in time and looking at the American and the European, the GFS and the European, going all the way through this weekend into early next week. I'll stop it here on Tuesday, and the GFS starts to sniff out some possible development here in the central Maine development region. Again, a weak system at this point. Disagreement among the two models. You notice the European does not show anything here at this point in time. Going out farther, we'll go all the way out to 10 days out from now, September the 20th. And at this point in time, both models are hinting at possibly there being something in the far southwestern Atlantic, just to the northeast of the Leeward Islands. GFS in the yellow here, European in the red, both showing systems in the same general area here. This is, again, one run. In the next 10 days, these will certainly change, but it does start to indicate maybe a signal that something may develop in the main development region and start to loop on out to sea. Again, we're at the time of the year now that we're starting to get fronts coming on in from the north and west, kind of protecting the U.S. from landfalls and causing more of a recurve track. Will that play out? I mean, we've also seen plenty of September storms that develop and just head due west through the Caribbean and up into the Gulf. That's certainly still a possibility out there for the remainder of the season. It's likely not going to be the end after we had Fernan about 10 days ago. As I told you, the background environment, the sea surface temperatures are certainly suitable. We've got well above normal waters in the Gulf, in the Caribbean, Southwest Atlantic. The sea surface temperature scar from Erin is now pretty much eroded and gone. It's filled back in with temperatures that are above where they should be this time of the year. And then look at the main development region, a large swath here of roughly a degree above normal sea surface temperatures. That may not seem like a lot, but that's just that much more heat energy available for storms to use. Long-range outlook, we brought this to you yesterday. These are released every Tuesday, so this came out yesterday. Looking at the next 2 to 3 weeks from the Climate Prediction Center, highlighting that area, 17th to 23rd. This area here for a moderate chance, 40% chance of some development. It also hints at a signal for a Central American gyre here in Central America that could spin something off into the Gulf, into the Western Caribbean, or spit something out into the Eastern Pacific, which I would say probably a little more likely considering how active the Eastern Pacific has been. We'll watch the main development region, though, heading out in the week 3 to wrap up the month of September. Still an area highlighted here at low chances, and again, still hinting at the Western Caribbean and Southern Gulf for possibility of some low development there. Our next name on the list is Gabrielle. Haven't even completed the first column here yet, so we are in terms of climatology, running a little bit behind there. And then behind that would be Humberto, Imelda, and Jerry. We'll see how far we go. Again, it's still anticipated to be a pretty backloaded season. because the outlooks are still calling for above normal activity, which would be more than 14 named storms, and we're only at 6. All right, out in the Eastern Pacific, we got what's left of Kiko, and we've also got this area here, high chances of developing into Mario. This now stands at a 70% chance in the next 2 days, 90% chance over the next 7. Here's what's left. The next couple advisories will probably be the last for Kiko as it drifts just north of Hawaii. Again, now just a post-tropical storm, 35-mile-per-hour winds, just a shell of what it was just a few days ago when it was a Category 4 beast, and it maintained a major hurricane status for 90 hours. Again, next name on the list is Mario. We're over halfway done, the second column of the names for the Eastern Pacific. All right, coming up after a quick break, we got part 3 of a Hurricane Floyd special done back in 1999 after Hurricane Floyd made landfall, plus a look at how unusually quiet the peak of the season has been with Hunter Forrest. And then later on, we've got tropical trivia. We'll see you right after a quick break. Welcome back to Hurricane Hub Live. Today marks the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, but for the first time in nearly a decade, the tropics are unusually quiet. Meteorologist Hunter Forrest has more.
September 10th marks the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, the time when we typically see the most tropical activity. But in 2025, things look very different. The basin is quiet with no active storms and no immediate threats on the map. That's unusual for this point in the season. So why is it so calm? There have been a mix of factors at play. Dry, stable air, strong wind shear making it difficult for any systems to form. And the result, nearly 2 weeks of silence since the end of Tropical Storm Fernand in late August. Over the last 30 years, there have only been a few different years when there has not been a named system during the peak of the season. 2000, 2014, 2016, and now we have to add 2025 to the list. Now, the last time a hurricane did not occur between August 20th and September 10th was 1994. And though there's still a couple weeks left of this month, the last time there was no landfalling hurricane in September was 10 years ago, back in 2015. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forrest.
Well, our series looking back at Hurricane Floyd in 1999 it continues tonight. The devastating storm caused catastrophic flooding and significant damage across the eastern United States, particularly in North Carolina and right here in Virginia. So much so that our team here at 13 News Now did an hour-long special recapping the destruction. Let's take a look at part 3 of the 1999 special, Fury and Floods, with former anchor Barbara Sierra and former chief meteorologist Jeff Lawson.
Floyd's flooding may have inundated parts of Hampton roads as waters like the Blackwater River here came up out of their banks, flooding homes and businesses. But in Portsmouth, for example, there was a major problem as residents there were just unprepared for what happened next.
In fact, the entire city's water supply was cut off after power outages and flooding cut the supply from the plant in Suffolk.
Yeah, it was a rude awakening when you realize what happens if you don't have fresh water.
Well, we have electricity. We don't have any water.
We have very little water at home. We need some drinking water, some bathing water, so it's not good at all.
Our sons are potty training, so we definitely need water to brush teeth, to wash, to cook, everything. So it's definitely a terrible situation to be in.
How's it like dealing with a baby with no water?
Actually, he comes first. He gets everything, bathing, drinking water, whatever. So actually, I'm without.
Can I have attention?
People have to adapt to their environment, you know what I'm saying?
There is no water available at the site right now. Water will be coming to the city at approximately 5 o'clock this afternoon.
What's the nature of this postponement?
We've been out here since 9 o'clock this morning.
It's ridiculous to have a taxpayer stand in line like they're living in a third world country.
At 5 o'clock. Why wasn't preparations made for us to get water in? People got kids. I can't tell we don't got no water, so it couldn't have been done. People still walking around here without no water. He took a bath this morning.
We expect it within a couple of hours. That's a difficult situation, but that's what happens when you have a hurricane. Nobody knew we were going to have a hurricane that was going to create this kind of problem 3 weeks ago. But meanwhile, we'll do everything we can humanly do to send the assistance to this community because we care about the people of Portsmouth.
This gentleman will come with you, ma'am.
There's got to be a better way to do this.
As you just saw, when Floyd struck, the wheels of government began turning very quickly.
Yeah, Governor Gilmore dispatched the Virginia National Guard and, of course, the Coast Guard as well as the Navy. I mean, they really got involved, performing hundreds of rescues across Virginia and North Carolina.
13's military reporter Mike Gooding reports.
They didn't hesitate. People's lives were at risk. The time for action had come. Again and again in the flood-stricken towns of western Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina, the military answered the call.
It's kind of like a war zone, I guess you could say, just without the bombs and rockets. There's mass destruction everywhere. Houses ruined, families, businesses, everything's gone. It's amazing.
30,000 homes in North Carolina were flooded out. Farmers lost 95% of their crops. At least 39 people lost their lives. But the military was there to make sure the tragedy wasn't worse, the death toll higher.
It makes you feel good when you can go out there and help as many people as we did. I don't think there's any other feeling like it. Those people they were really in trouble.
A lot of people standing out on their porches waving if they had porches on top of the roofs. People were in trees. Everybody doing what they could to flag us down.
And once you get down there and you see the plight of the people and the magnitude of the flooding, it makes you feel all that more viable and grateful to have the opportunity to do it, to save some folks.
How are you all doing?
Governor Jim Gilmore wasted no time in activating the Virginia National Guard from protecting more than 300 washed-out roads.
What do you do in real life?
I'm retail manager.
So now you've been called up to duty for the National Guard.
That's right.
How you feel about that?
Hey, got to do what we got to do, and that's my job, and that's part of it.
To joining their Navy and Coast Guard peers in trying to save lives, the Guard was there. In Southampton County, it wasn't a happy ending. A 9-year-old Maryland girl died when the Assamoostic Swamp near Cortland swelled to 12 feet, trapping her. National Guard troops did everything they could to try to save her.
Literally, we had no moment to think. As soon as we hit the ground, I heard 5 pair of boots hit the ground. I jumped in the water, and we heard immediately 2 other splashes behind me. The whole process probably took 2 minutes to pull the young lady out of the water. We started administering CPR immediately.
I have a little girl, so there was a child in the water. That was all I thought about.
The destruction, it seemed, was everywhere. The scope of the tragedy incalculable.
I've never seen it like this.
What do you think about what you see out there?
I don't like it. It's a mess.
So around the clock, the armed forces did their part.
It's nice to be able to have a part in something, knowing that we're actually helping the citizens of the country this time out. We're used to being overseas doing the forward deployed work, but to help out the average citizen here in the States, that means quite a bit.
It's just apocalyptic as you fly around and see the devastation. It just makes you feel horrible, and any little bit that we can do to help is what we're here for.
Does it make you feel good about being in the Navy?
Oh, absolutely. This kind of stuff makes it all worth, for me, 15 years. Sure. Anytime we can help someone, it makes it all worth it.
From jeopardizing lives to disturbing the dead, Floyd was a powerful reminder of just how awesome these storms can be.
Absolutely. Coming up next, the eerie side of Floyd, how its force unearthed the caskets of some of the dead.
All right, coming up, tropical trivia. Stick around. Welcome back. Time for some tropical trivia. Yesterday's question for you: what U.S. state has experienced the most hurricane landfalls? This may be a bit of a give me, but Texas, Florida, Louisiana, or North Carolina, of course, that is going to be Florida. They've seen between 120 and 140 hurricane landfalls since records have been kept back in the 1800s. So a lot of landfalls there. In fact, I think the records go way back from there. All right, tropical systems can also spawn tornadoes. Which storm has spawned the most tornadoes in the U.S.? Was it Francis in 2004, Ivan in 2004, Rita in 2005, or Milton just last year in 2024? The answer tomorrow night on Hurricane Hub Live. We are here 7 nights a week at 8 p.m., tracking the latest on the tropics. We'll see you back here tomorrow.